Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Bold and the Beautiful is about to make history with this long overdue storyline. The Bold and the Beautiful continues to delight fans after more than 4 decades and has a history of taking on some biting and dynamic topics. From alcoholism and mental health struggles to adoption and parentage, the series has never shied away from shining a light on important subjects. Among the aforementioned subjects is the inclusion of LGBTQIA+ stories with a major 2015 arc that even made television history. However, for all its efforts in queer representation, The Bold and the Beautiful has somehow never before featured one of the most fundamental elements of storytelling for the community. But with the announcement that Harrison Cohn would be joining the cast as a new love interest for Remy, Christian Weissman, also came the news that the show would feature its first ever male kiss. While this may seem like a small accomplishment as a whole, it is long overdue and is an important element for the show. When it comes to important topics, soap operas have a history of including groundbreaking stories. In fact, The Bold and the Beautiful has done so before with queer representation. In 2012, it was revealed that the character Karen Spencer, Jennifer Field, identified as a lesbian, a first for the longtime soap. As the twin of fan-favorite character Caroline Spencer Forrester, Joanna Johnson, Karen wasn't as well received as her sister, but the move was an unquestionable step forward for the show. What really made the revelation work was how smartly the series developed her storylines. Yes, her identity was key to many of her stories, but she never felt defined by it. In fact, some of her most interesting arcs came from sibling rivalry and her prominent career at the family business, Spencer Publications. Just 3 years later, the show made daytime history with a revelation regarding the character of Maya Avant, Carla Mosley. Maya had already been on The Bold and the Beautiful for roughly 2 years, when it was revealed in 2015 that the character was transgender. According to Soap Hub, Maya was indeed the first ever transgender character to be featured on daytime television regularly. It was an incredibly bold move for the time, especially for a show that at that point was largely behind its competitors when it came to LGBTQIA+ characters and stories. Maya continued to make history when she became daytime's first ever transgender bride. However, while Maya is largely credited for making way for characters such as General Hospital's Terry, Cassandra James, the show has yet to feature one of the most simple and important parts of queer identity, a male kiss. Thankfully, that is all about to change. Considering how bravely The Bold and the Beautiful took on the aforementioned storylines, it's rather confusing that the show has yet to feature a gay couple or male kiss. But as recently revealed by Deadline, that is all about to change. Remy will soon be getting a new love interest in the way of actor Harrison Cohn. Cohn, known for his work in films such as Ick, will arrive on the series on September 16th and is said to have a close tie to one of The Bold and the Beautiful's pre-existing characters. While the mystery and romance potential surrounding the new character is certainly tantalizing, the confirmation that he and Remy will share the show's first ever queer male kiss is what makes the casting so exciting. After all, queer romances have come quite a long way on TV over the last few years, but considering how important intimacy is for the genre, it's about time the iconic soap opera included such a moment. Soap operas always surprise us with their storylines, from baby swaps to evil twins, and, of course, characters coming back from the dead. These soap opera tropes are what give a soap its identity. The Bold and the Beautiful, of course, has dabbled in stereotypical storylines with their characters, but oddly has been behind with male queer representation. After all, the series has never shied away from showing straight couples sharing moments of affection. And for all its efforts to bring LGBTQIA+ representation to the screen, it's baffling that it has taken this long to include a queer male moment like this. The truth is that queer representation is still something the entertainment industry struggles to get right. It's not enough to simply call a character gay. Just as straight couples have to accurately represent their experiences, queer characters need to be fully fleshed out. While we would never discredit the aforementioned representation the show has included over the years, allowing Remy and his new love interest a chance to experience the same level of intimate storytelling as the show's other characters is beyond necessary at this point. It furthers the bold and the beautiful's long-time commitment to queer representation and serves as a major step forward for a show that, even after 4 decades, continues to find ways to entertain fans. For more than 3 decades, The Bold and the Beautiful has thrived on love triangles, family rivalries, and scandalous betrayals played out beneath the glitz of Forrester creations. Fans have watched Ridge waver between Brooke and Taylor so many times it feels almost biblical, seen Sheila Carter claw her way out of the grave more times than should be humanly possible, and held their breath as fashion shows doubled as arenas for epic showdowns. Yet, in a show that's never shied away from breaking barriers in daytime television, it seems we are now on the verge of something historic, something overdue, something that might just redefine what it means to be bold in daytime. This new storyline, whispered about behind the scenes and hinted at in the layered beats of recent episodes, could be the one that cements B&B's place as not just the most glamorous soap on TV, but one willing to dive into territory no other daytime series has dared to tread. The weight of history. To understand why this moment feels so monumental, one has to step back and consider the show's track record. The Bold and the Beautiful is no stranger to making waves in television history. In the 1990s, it broke new ground by bringing international settings, like fashion shows in Paris and Portofino, into the soap world, turning melodrama into a global spectacle. Later, it introduced Maya Avant, the first transgender lead character in American daytime, a story that garnered both praise and cultural significance. But for all its willingness to push boundaries, B&B has also relied heavily on repeating its most profitable formulas: the Brooke Ridge-Taylor saga, Bill Spencer's ruthless power plays, and Sheila's endless cycle of redemption and destruction. Viewers have loved the repetition, but they've also longed for something more meaningful, something that reflects today's cultural climate and the diverse, complicated stories that resonate beyond the walls of Forrester creations. That's why whispers of this upcoming arc have soap fans buzzing with both anticipation and relief. The long overdue storyline. At the heart of the rumor mill is the suggestion that B&B is about to tackle a storyline centered not just on family rivalry or forbidden love, but on intergenerational healing and accountability, a theme that could bring together decades of unresolved tension among the Forresters, Logans, and Spencers. Imagine this. Instead of another round of who slept with whom, the show dares to address the ripple effects of toxic cycles that have plagued these families for years. We could see Ridge confronted with the legacy of his waffling, how his indecision and selfishness shaped not just Brooke and Taylor's lives, but the emotional stability of his children. Or Eric, the patriarch who often played referee, being held accountable for enabling destructive behavior while hiding his own secrets. Most tantalizing of all, the whispers suggest that the storyline may intertwine with a social issue that resonates off-screen: mental health and generational trauma. It's an area soaps have often tiptoed around, but rarely explored with depth. If B&B does this, it won't just be entertainment, it'll be history. Why now? The timing couldn't be better. In a world where viewers crave authenticity alongside escapism, soaps can no longer thrive solely on shock twists. They must also reflect the conversations their audiences are having in real life. Today's viewers are far more attuned to the language of therapy, trauma cycles, and the need for accountability. To see beloved characters finally step into those conversations would not only feel refreshing, it would feel revolutionary. Take Thomas Forrester, for instance. For years, Thomas has been painted as a manipulative schemer, often teetering on the edge of villainy. Yet, more recently, the show has tried to redeem him without ever fully exploring the why of his behavior. What if this storyline finally digs into the root causes: his fractured childhood, his father's divided affections, the pressures of the Forrester dynasty, and frames it not as an excuse but as a chance for growth and healing? Fans have long wanted Thomas to find real redemption, not just temporary forgiveness. A storyline that dares to show a man grappling with inherited trauma while seeking therapy and accountability would be a first in daytime. It wouldn't just be drama, it would be groundbreaking. The ripple effect across families. What makes this potential storyline so exciting is how it could ripple across every canvas of the show. Imagine Taylor as a psychiatrist, finally using her profession not just as a title but as a catalyst for real family work. Imagine Brooke, often painted as the eternal vixen, stepping into the role of matriarch who reflects on her past choices and the legacy she's leaving her children. Imagine Hope, torn between loyalty to her mother and her desire to build something healthier for her own kids, pushing back against the cycles she grew up with. Even Sheila, B&B's eternal wildcard, could be reframed. Instead of yet another Sheila escapes prison plot, what if the show leaned into the pathology of her chaos, the way unresolved trauma metastasizes into destruction? It would be daring, yes, but it would also bring dimension to a character long defined by caricature. Fashion meets therapy. Of course, this is still the bold and the beautiful. No one expects it to suddenly transform into a therapy session on PBS. What makes this idea so enticing is the way the show could balance its signature glamour with depth. Picture a Forrester Creations fashion show intercut with therapy breakthroughs, high-stakes boardroom drama juxtaposed with intimate confessions about childhood wounds. Daytime has always been about spectacle, but when spectacle is fused with substance, that's when soaps become unforgettable, a cultural milestone. If B&B follows through on this arc, it could create a ripple effect across the soap genre itself. For years, fans have lamented the decline of daytime dramas, blaming repetitive plots and lack of innovation. A storyline about intergenerational healing, mental health, and accountability wouldn't just be new, it would feel necessary. It would prove that soaps can still be relevant, still surprise us, and still make history. And make no mistake, it would be history. Just as Maya Avant's storyline put B&B in headlines beyond the soap press, this arc could do the same, sparking conversations about representation, mental health, and the evolution of storytelling on daytime television. The bold future. There's a reason the word bold sits in the show's title. It's not just about daring fashion or scandalous affairs. It's about the courage to tell stories that matter. For too long, certain truths have gone unspoken in the world of the Forresters and Logans. If this new storyline dares to crack open those silences, the bold and the beautiful will not only live up to its name, but redefine it. History isn't always made with explosions or shock deaths. Sometimes it's made when characters we've watched for decades finally sit down, look each other in the eye, and confront the truths that have been festering for generations. And if that's truly where we're headed, then yes, the bold and the beautiful is about to make history. Long overdue, but worth the wait.